House Minority Whip Steve Scalise was there. He's my guest today from the Hill. And sir, good morning and welcome back here. What went down?
Well, good morning, Bill. It started off as a meeting to really talk through the complicated issues dealing with ISIS, dealing with the Turks and the Kurds in Syria. And, you know, the president started talking through what he was doing. He was interrupted a lot of times by Speaker Pelosi and Minority Leader Schumer. And it got a little bit heated. But ultimately, if you look at what ended up happening, Speaker Pelosi stormed out with Steny Hoyer, and then we actually had a good meeting. Everybody else had, I thought, very rational conversation about what the plan is, how we're going to make sure that these ISIS terrorists that are being held by the Kurds don't escape. You know, the problems with Turkey, the actions we're taking against Turkey to put sanctions on them. And again, it was, I thought, a very constructive meeting after Pelosi stormed out.
Who was present for that part of it?
You had a number of Democrats and Republicans. It was the leaders, both Republican and Democrat, from the House and Senate, including the chairman and lead Republican of the committees in Armed Services, Foreign Affairs, from both the House and the Senate. And so, again, a lot of good conversation, very legitimate questions, constructive questions asked by Democrats and Republicans. And the president was very candid and forthwith in his answers. But again, it was after Speaker Pelosi left.
How would you characterize the state of their relationship? How strained is it?
It's not good. You know, look, she's trying to impeach him, and without evidence. She made it very clear from the beginning she wanted to impeach him regardless of whether or not there was evidence. And then they've been meandering around on this witch hunt to try to find something. And it started with the Mueller investigation. It's not like they haven't had investigations. It's been going on for 2 years. They found absolutely nothing wrong, and they won't stop.
So I apologize. I just want to try and squeeze in a lot of stuff, give our viewers the best perspective we can. It's not like they haven't gone at each other in the past. You know, before the impeachment inquiry went. So again,
during the government shutdown,
how would you characterize how these two leading politicians are carrying out their relationship with one another?
It's not a good relationship, and it's unfortunate because, look, even during the shutdown, it was contentious in December of last year, and President Trump asked Speaker Pelosi while we were negotiating over building the wall, he said, look, you talk a lot about DACA, I'll put DACA on the table. And Speaker Pelosi refused to negotiate on DACA, even though she gives all these speeches saying she wants to resolve the problem. The president put it on the table, and she walked out of the room then. So there's a history of her doing this.
So
she doesn't want to negotiate on these serious issues.
She apparently said, "Is home Saudi Arabia," referring to the some 2,000 troops that will be sent there. All roads with you lead to Putin. Did you hear those comments?
I heard them, and it was, I thought, a very inappropriate comment for her to make. Again, it shows where her mindset is. She just wants to impeach the president. She has disdain for him. And look, it's understandable that she wasn't happy with the results of the 2016 election, but the people of America spoke, and next year the people of America will be able to choose the president. It shouldn't be Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff behind closed doors. They're literally conducting an impeachment inquiry of the president of the United States in secret behind closed doors. And so that's where she is. She won't negotiate on these other serious issues. They won't bring, there's a bipartisan bill. She talked about drug pricing. We passed a unanimous bipartisan bill out of committee to lower drug prices. Every Republican and every Democrat. She won't bring that package of bills to the floor. She's bringing a partisan package of bills right now that they're trying to move through that will never become law. She could have had USMCA done months ago. Better trade deal with Mexico and Canada, creating more jobs in America. She won't bring that to the floor because she's so focused on impeachment. I think people are sick of that. We should be working on the people's business, not focusing on them trying to reverse the results of the 2016 election when America will decide next year.
Let me get to two more points here in the time I have left. There's this storyline that's developing that you can have selective leaks that influence the general public, and you bring them along slowly over to your argument. And then I guess at some point you either have a public hearing or you come out with a document that says, this is what we've got. Do you believe what that general strategy is on behalf of these committees now?
That is Speaker Pelosi's tactic with this. You know, they drip out information, a lot of times misleading.
Just to be clear, you think that is the strategy, correct?
I think that Speaker Pelosi's strategy is to try to hide in secret a lot of the information, drip out things that are selective for them, in many cases that turn out to be inaccurate, but that doesn't matter. Adam Schiff's opening statement, he literally read a lie, a falsehood, and then later had to go and say that it was wrong, but the narrative was already out. And Speaker Pelosi does this time and time again. We've said release the full transcript of the Volcker testimony. Why won't they release that to the public? Ranking members of Congress cannot even go in and read that testimony. Republican or Democrat can't even find out what happened in those meetings that they're going to try to use to impeach a president of the United States. That's the star chamber that Nancy Pelosi is running right now.
Let me get to one more
in the
thing.
House.
Jackie Spears, a Democrat from California, she's in all these interviews and depositions, whatever you call them at the moment. She said this at the Hill. She said the most important thread that we're teasing out on all of this is the fact that the President of the United States has been running a shadow foreign policy with Rudy Giuliani, who is a private citizen. She continues. He has no credentials and is confusing our allies around the world and thrilling our adversaries. I don't know what else she had to say, but is there a crime to be found in there? Yes or no?
No, and Rudy Giuliani is doing his own thing. The president runs the foreign policy of this country, and that's been very clear. In the meeting yesterday, by the way, we had the Secretary of Defense, we had the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the people that are advising the president on these very, very major important decisions. It wasn't Rudy or anybody else. They're throwing up smoke screens with that. They know they're trying to remove a president. The author of the articles of impeachment, a Democrat himself, said, if they think President Trump will win unless they impeach him. They think that's their only way to stop him from getting reelected. That's not why we have impeachment, Bill. It's high crimes and misdemeanors. That's the standard. They haven't shown those high crimes, but they want to impeach him anyway behind closed doors.
I've got to run, but thank you for your time and condolences on the passing of your colleague, Elijah Cummings.
Yeah, we all mourn his passing. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for your time. Here's